for watching HCAM. If you want to help create content like this, become an HCAM member. As a member, you'll have access to professional quality equipment and software, as well as guidance from HCAM staff. Come see us at 35 Pond Park Road, Suite 8, conveniently located near Route 3 and Derby Street in Hingham.
Hello, welcome to Yoga for Boomers and Beyond. I'm your host, Nancy Boyle. My intention in bringing this program to you is to share the health benefits of a regular yoga practice by teaching methods of breathing and moving to improve strength, flexibility, and balance in the body, and to teach relaxation techniques that calm the mind and quiet the nervous system. We'll be practicing with the aid of a chair to make poses accessible to individuals with physical limitations, such as seniors or boomers, as I call them, myself included, and people recovering from illnesses or injury who might need to find an alternative to traditional practice on a mat. Hello, welcome to the first episode of Yoga for Boomers and Beyond. We're going to be practicing using the aid of a chair. A lot of our poses will be in a chair, and you can use any kind of sturdy chair you might have at home, preferably without arms. So you could use a dining room chair, a kitchen chair, whatever will, even a folding chair if you have one around, if that works. The thing that we want to do is to make sure that our hips and our knees are at the same height. So as you sit in your chair, you want your feet to be able to solidly land on something. So if the chair is too tall for your feet to hit the ground, if you have yoga blocks, you can put blocks underneath your feet. Or if you have books in your library, they're about this height or whatever the height needs to be, just put them under your feet so that you can sit with your feet on something. Now it might be that you're tall and your knees are higher than your hips because the chair is too low for you. So if that's the case, you might take a folded blanket and just put it on the chair and sit on the chair. So that's going to lift you up a little bit so that your knees will be a little lower. So it's important to have our joints lined up. And we're going to be practicing in 3 different segments. I'm going to be working with some breath. We're going to be learning some breath, and then we're going to be doing some movement called asanas in yoga. And then we're going to have a little relaxation at the end where I'll guide you into a nice relaxed state at the end of the practice. Yoga is an ancient practice accessible to just about anyone. And it's something that has brought great health benefits to me in my practice. I've been practicing for over 40 years. So I hope you enjoy the practice. We're going to begin by centering ourselves. So bringing our awareness to our breath. So often in life, we are segmented, kind of fragmented, especially in the high-paced world that we live in today. So our physical bodies might be one place and our mind will be someplace else. And we can be very easily distracted. So practicing yoga and practicing a centering breath is something that helps bring all those pieces together, our physical body, our minds, and even our spirits and our breath all together in one place. Something very rare, but something very, very much needed. Because when we breathe mindfully, it helps to quiet the nervous system and help us feel a little less stressed. It can even help to lower blood pressure. So we're going to begin simply by breathing. So I'd like you to sit nice and tall in the chair with your joints stacked, so the knees are over the ankles and the knees are in line with the hips. Bring your shoulders over your hips, and then bring your ears over your shoulders. So it seems pretty simple. Most of us don't stack very well, but in yoga we want all of our joints to be stacked so everything is balanced. Feet are facing forward, flat on the ground. And just imagine that there's a string right in the sternum and the crown of the head drawing you up, making you feel just a little bit taller. And then to begin, we'll just take a couple of cleansing breaths. So take a nice breath in, roll your shoulders up, and sigh it out. One more time, inhale, and let it go. One last time, inhale, and sigh it out. Great way to relieve tension. And so we're going to start that mindful breathing. So close your eyes if you're comfortable closing your eyes. If you're not comfortable with that, just let your gaze be gently down towards your lap or towards the floor. We're going to be breathing in and out through the nose. And if that's uncomfortable for you for any reason, try to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. So as we breathe, we're simply going to close our eyes, breathing in and out through the nose if you can, and just notice how it feels. So I'd like you to bring your awareness to where you feel the breath in your body. Perhaps for you it's the nostrils. Maybe it's the throat, the chest, the belly. Where do you feel the breath? And as you begin to witness the breath and be with the breath, begin to notice how the mind starts to quiet and settle. You might notice that thoughts start to come in, which they will do. But if they do, see if you can let them drift away without holding them, grabbing them, adding on to them. So just acknowledge a thought, let it go, and bring your mind back to the breath. The eyes closed and the breath nice and smooth. And for the next several breaths, see if the inhale and the exhale are equal in length or if they're different. Just notice, don't change anything. We breathe over 22,000 times a day. 22,000 times a day. And how often do we think about it? Almost never. But when we take the time to sit and pause and listen and be with our breath, it can help us bring more oxygen into the system, more of those nourishing oxygen that can feed the cells in our body. Most of us only breathe into our chest. So see if you can expand the breath just a little bit, making the inhale a little longer, making the exhale the equal length. And now bring your hand onto your belly. Right hand on the belly, left hand right over the heart. And as you witness the breath this time, see if you can notice the movement of the belly out into your hands as you begin your inhale. Notice how it pulls away from the hand as you exhale. So the belly's moving out and in. So we're practicing and beginning the practice of a breath called dirgha breath, 3-part breath. So it begins in the belly as we feel that movement out, and then it comes into the low ribs and up into the top of the lungs. So for the next few breaths, as you initiate the inhale, let the belly expand. Feel the low ribs expand, and then feel the chest expand right up into that top hand. Nice full breath in, and a nice full breath out. Again, reminding yourself to let those thoughts go, bringing your awareness fully and completely to the breath. We'll do 3 more rounds before we begin our movement. So a breath in and out. One more breath. And then bring your hands down to your lap, flutter your eyes open if they were closed. And we're going to do mostly work on our joints today. When we bring movement into our synovial joints, our wrists and our shoulders, our hips, our knees, our ankles, we encourage the flow of synovial fluid into those areas. I liken it to the Tin Man with an oil can, and he squirts it to make those joints start to move. And when we don't move our joints too often, if we're very sedentary, they tend to get stiff, dried up. So we're going to move those joints today and get some synovial fluid flowing there. And we're also going to move our spine in 6 different directions, encouraging the flow of spinal fluid, really plumping up those discs between the vertebrae, giving ourselves a little bit more mobility, range of motion. So sitting nice and tall, feet are flat on the ground, knees and hips straight ahead. And the crown of the head is lifted, sternum is lifted. We're going to bring our forearms together and interlace our hands, our fingers. And we're going to begin to make circles. So we're just beginning to bring some movement into those wrists. And when it feels right, we're going to move those wrists in the opposite direction. And then bring your hands down to your lap. Take one hand, left hand out to the front, palm is down. We're going to turn the fingers down towards the ground and just hook our thumbs together. Bring the fingers onto the back of the hand and just gently pull. So you're gently pulling that left hand in towards you, getting a nice stretch through the forearm here. Nice stretch into that carpal tunnel. Always breathing into stretches. So we want to always bring our breath right to the place that we're stretching. So if you can't imagine that happening at all, just breathe nice and fully and try to relax whatever might feel tight as you exhale. Moving the hand up so the palm is facing away from you. Take the other hand and bring it across the top and then draw the fingers back so you're getting a nice stretch in that forearm in another way. Nice full breaths. And then releasing that hand down, we're going to take the right arm out. We're going to turn the fingers down and hook the thumbs, draw the hand back. So the straighter the arm, the best stretch you're going to get. But if this is difficult for you, just put a little bend in your elbow and you'll be good. And breathe into that stretch. So nice breath in. And nice breath out. Moving upward, so we're going to change the position of the hand, bring the fingers in front of the right palm and draw the fingers back. Nice full breaths. And then releasing that hand down. We're going to bring our arms out to the sides, palms are up. And then we're going to bring our hands to cup our shoulders. We're going to start to draw circles on the wall to the left and the right of us, as if you have a crayon on the end of your elbow. So we're simply going to cup the shoulders and begin to draw large, slow circles. So the spine stays nice and long, feet stay grounded, and the breath stays full. You know, sometimes when we're concentrating on doing things, we hold our breath. Happens all the time. So I'll be frequently reminding you to breathe. And then we're going to draw those circles in the opposite direction, big and slow. Nice full breaths as you go. Then we're going to pause with the elbows as high as the shoulders. And on an inhale, we're going to open up the hands, reach to the walls on the side. We're going to bring the hands back. So the elbows are getting a little bit of work now. We're getting those synovial fluids into those elbows. We just did the shoulders. We're just opening on the inhale and closing up on the exhale. Opening and closing. One more time, bringing the arms out and then bringing them back. Bringing the hands down onto your lap. I'd like you to close your eyes and just notice what's happening. A lot of the times when we start to move our bodies, we start to get that oxygenated blood to flow in places that might not have had it, seen it in quite some time, because we open up the pathways for that blood and that oxygen to get to those parts. So you might feel a little bit of effervescence, a little change in energy. So in yoga, we always want to notice what's going on from the inside. So just pause and notice. Maybe there's some warming in the shoulders or in the arms or the wrists. And then opening your eyes once again, we're going to come into a pose called mountain pose, seated mountain pose. So again, it's where everything is stacked and aligned and our arms are down by our sides. We're going to start to move the left arm forward and up, and then forward and back. So I'm mirroring you here. So right arm forward and up, and exhale forward and down. We're simply going to alternate up and down, and up and down. Two more on each side. Left arm up, reach it forward and down. So we're elongating, lengthening as we reach. Shoulders are getting a little bit more of that Nice juice. One more on this side. And then down. So we're going to work on our hips. We're going to start some movement that's going to start a little bit of movement in our hips. So we're simply going to bring our hands on our thighs and begin to rotate. So we're going to bring the torso forward and off to the side and back and around. Big, slow circles here. And just make it organic. You may want to bring a shoulder forward if it feels good to stretch in that area. Pausing and reversing direction. So you're just going to move in the opposite direction. And then coming to stillness. We're going to move down to our knees, get some movement there. So we're just going to lift the left leg, kick it out, flex the foot, and bring it down. Take the right leg up and forward, flexing, and then bring it down. So we're just going to alternate lifting and flexing and bringing it down, lifting and flexing and lowering. Lifting, flexing, and lowering. Lifting, flexing, and lowering. One more on each side. And there. Great. So what we're going to do now is find a standing posture. I'm going to do some movements in a standing posture. So we're going to bring ourselves up out of the chair and stand by the chair. If for any reason it's not possible for you to get out of a chair, you can do some of these things while you're seated. So give it a try. So we're going to do a little ankle roll here. And I'm going to hold onto the chair and take my left foot, I'm going to move forward a little bit, take my left foot behind me, right on the tops of my toes. So I'm on the top of my toes, and I'm going to start to make circles just rolling over my toes. Getting the joints of every single toe just rolling over the ball of the foot. Big circles. And then we're going to go in the opposite direction. So it's almost as if there's a nice looseness in the hip and the knee is turning. It's like it's a little lasso kind of making circles right from this hip joint. And then we're going to take that foot down and step the other foot back. Being on the tops of those toes, we're simply going to roll over the toes. The whole leg is relaxed and loose, so we're getting a little bit of movement in the hip. Reversing direction. And then bringing that foot down. Bringing our feet together, a little bend in the knees. We're going to make some circles with our knees, as if we're rolling over the outer and inner edges of our feet. Just warming up, lubricating the knees. So even if you only do this in a day, just bringing that lubrication reverse direction when you're ready. So you want to keep those joints always moving as best you can. Coming back to standing, stepping your feet a little bit apart. We're going to hula hoop a little bit. So if you've ever hula hooped, we're going to get our hips involved. We're going to keep moving the hips in big, slow circles. And we're going to stop. And then we're going to reverse direction. I could never keep a hula hoop up. Especially going slow, right? Can you imagine a hula hoop trying to stay up going at this pace? But you do want to make these circles nice and slow. And then coming to stillness. Beautiful. We're going to step our feet together and practice a little bit of balance. So you want to have the chair nearby. You might play with letting go if you feel confident enough, but if you feel that you need to stay connected to the chair, that's okay. Because when we use the muscles in our legs for standing, even if we're lightly holding onto a chair, we're still working those muscles. And so any practice of balance, I encourage us to do every single day. So bringing your weight into your right leg, come onto the toes of your left foot. And this might be where you stay, holding onto the chair. So if you feel that this is as far as you can go, then by all means stay here. If you feel that you can lift that foot off the ground, I encourage you to flex the foot and spread the toes. That's going to bring energy into that leg. Keep imagining that string through the crown of your head so you're standing nice and tall. The thing about balance, 3 things, is you want to engage your core, draw your navel in. You want to really continue to focus on your breath, because the breath brings subtleties. It allows the body to have subtle movements, which it needs and will do when it's balancing. And you also want to find a drishti, a point in front of you that does not move, that you can rest your awareness on. And then you can play with letting go, holding, maybe just a finger, maybe both hands off. So you decide what's best for you. The more you practice, the easier it will be. And you're still working the muscles in the legs, even if your toe is on the ground. So we're going to move to the other side, planting that foot, coming on to the toes of the other. And again, you might stay right here. If you'd like to lift the leg, give that a try. Flexing the foot, spreading the toes. Nice full breaths. Playing with letting go. Hands at heart or not. So our balance is very different on right and left side typically, and it's different every day. So play with it every day and see if you can improve the balance. That's what we need to do as boomers and seniors. Bringing that foot down, just begin to pedal a little bit. You can even practice this while you're brushing your teeth in the morning. Holding on to the counter if you need to hold on to something and brushing your teeth. So we've done all of our joints, and we've done a little bit of balance. So now we're going to move our way back to the chair. So I'm going to sit myself down in the chair. Please sit yourself down in your chair. And we're going to do 2 simple sun salutations, and then we're going to come into a relaxation. So coming into that mountain pose, that seated mountain pose. Inhale your arms up overhead. And exhale, bring your hands to cactus arms. Inhale, lean slightly forward. And on your exhale, take your hands, glide them to your knees, reach your heart forward. This might be as far as you go. But if you can go further, see if you can bring your hands to your ankles and let your head point down. On your inhale, you have an option for coming up hands on thighs to come up. Or you can sweep your arms wide, use your core here, and come all the way up. So you be the judge of what works best for you, always doing what your body says is best. So never doing something that feels uncomfortable or painful. Arms down by your sides. We'll do that one more time. Inhale up, and exhale to cactus. Inhale, lean, and exhale, glide. Staying here or coming a little lower. Inhaling, coming back up. And exhaling, hands to the heart. So our movement is over. Just begin to notice how the body feels. It might feel very different than when you started, just noticing. It's not required that things change, but often they do after a yoga practice. So we're going to settle into a relaxation. I'm going to guide you into a relaxation. So I'd like you to sit back in your chair, maybe a pillow behind you if it would be comfortable, and you may want to get down if you have a mat and you're able to get down on the floor. You may want to lie on the floor. But just find a comfortable place. Extend your legs if you're in the chair. Rest your hands on your lap. And before we release all of our muscles, let's make them really tight. So make your toes and your ankles and your leg muscles tight. Make your buttocks and your arms and your fingers and your wrists tight. Make the muscles in your face super, 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 super tight. And then release everything. Let everything go. And then with a nice sense of peace and relaxation, rest your hands on your lap. Let your legs relax. And beginning with your toes. The toes and the feet and the ankles relax. And the muscles in the calves and the shins up into the thighs. Feel the support of the chair underneath your thighs. Feel the support of the chair on your back. Allow your fingers, your hands, and your wrists to relax. Allow the muscles that wrap the bones in your arms to simply melt away from the bones and become very heavy. The shoulders, the neck, and the jaw relax. The facial muscles soften. The scalp allowing yourself to surrender to gravity. The body is heavy, supported by the chair or the mat if you're on the floor. The breath is smooth and rhythmic, light and natural. And then bring your awareness inward and upward. There's space between your eyebrows. We call this the third eye in yoga. It's where our intuition lies. And rest your mind there as you rest in Shavasana. If thoughts come into your mind, which they will tend to do, see if you can once again let them float past without grabbing them and making them larger than they are. Just let them float by, bringing your awareness back to that third eye. The body is quiet. You can stay here for as long as you like. Or if you'd like to come out of this posture now, just begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. Move your ankles and your wrists. And then opening your eyes, take a nice full body stretch. So reach the arms up overhead, extend the legs, really stretch out. And then bring your hands to your heart, pausing here, waking to go about your day, hoping you feel peaceful and calm. Thanks so much for practicing with me today. If you know someone who might benefit from the practice we did today, I hope that you'll share it with them by sending them to the HCAM YouTube video page. I encourage you to share your feedback on that site as well. Tell me what areas of the body I could focus on that would be helpful to you. I hope you'll join me next time. Until then, Namaste.